The BraveMaker Show is hosted by Tony Gapastione and Christina Jackson. Thanks for tuning in. It's showtime.
Hey, it is showtime. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Tony Gapastione and my pronouns are he, him, his. I am in Redwood City, California. That's Northern California, a little bit south of San Francisco. And I'm a writer and an actor and a director. I love storytelling in all mediums, but specifically filmmaking. And every week, I get to talk with my friend and collaborator and co-host of the BraveMaker Show, Christina Ray Jackson.
Hey, what's going on, Tony? I'm Christina Ray Jackson. My pronouns are he, she, they, and I'm coming to you from the East Bay in Dublin, California. And I'm an African-American woman. I'm rocking some long white hair today. I actually don't know if you've heard, Tony, they're thinking about doing the origin stories for Ursula. So this is a young Ursula meets Wolverine.
I knew the Wolverine part. You know I love that Wolverine.
Yeah, I guess it's inspired by the Cruella story, which I absolutely love the movie, and I love seeing, like, how did Cruella end up so cruel? So it's very cool if they're going to go back and tell Ursula's story before she became so treacherous as we get to see her in The Little Mermaid.
Did she and King Triton have a little something? Did they have a little foray?
I know. Could you imagine?
Are we gonna find out there's an octopus / mer person out there in the world that's somehow a sibling to Ariel? I don't know.
Tony, are you writing this fan fiction right now? Right? That's wild. That is wild. Yeah. Who knows?
Well,
you never know.
If anybody could pull it off, it's K-Ray Cosplay, # K-Ray Cosplay. Go follow Christina's amazing mashups. I love it. And I am a Caucasian man with brown hair and some scruff. And I am in my studio at BraveMaker HQ with a brown shirt on that says Black Lives Matter. We say these things because we want to be inclusive of all people and all abilities. Mm-hmm. And today, it's just Christina and I, which I'm really, really excited about because we're probably going to be doing more of this teaser, spoiler. We'll talk more about that. So you have a good half hour, 45 minutes of conversation with us. So before we have our special guest, which is each other, why don't we talk about how we are braving our way this week? How are you braving your way towards your creative goals?
I am braving my way this week by redoing my biography. I put it off and off, but as you know, I'm revamping my website. I'm meeting with my website developer tomorrow, so it could be published tomorrow. That would be very exciting.
Nice.
ChristinaJackson.com could be live again. And so I had to rewrite that. And it's something, I don't know if you've done that recently. Tony sat down and wrote your bio for a website or for a project. Mm-hmm. But it's a very intimate thing to do. It's a very intimate piece of writing. And I've really struggled with what I wanted to share and what I didn't want to share and not making it too long. So that's how I've been braving my way, really just taking a mirror and looking at myself in my life and how far I've come and trying to write, the best bio for the website so people could really get a glimpse into who I am as an artist, an actor, a comic book writer, and a singer. So that's how I've been braving my way. What about you, Tony?
I dig that. First off, let me say I learned something with my bios because there are all different lengths, right, of bios. So on my website, I created a secret space where I had a link that I could shoot to potential partners, collaborators, or clients that needed a bio that would be like long, medium, and short. So you could have your main bio on your webpage, but then you have like a hidden link that is not public, but that is live so that you could shoot that to people. And I have a 1-sentence bio, a 3-sentence bio, and then like a 5 or 7-sentence bio.
That is very cool. I'm taking notes.
Take it. Well, this week for me, this is really fun to be able to share this because I'm documenting publicly live with all our BraveMaker friends and audience, as well as it's keeping me accountable. But I have progressed in my next film called Go Veronica Go. All of the little note cards here are growing, and this time I always do something different. You never know how it's going to come to be when I write a film. And I teach screenwriting, and I always say you got to find what works for you. Maybe every time you write a film, it could look different. So I'm using the 8 sequence method, which is, you start out with your first sequence is the status quo, the ordinary world, and then the inciting incident, and then what's the predicament, and how does the character get locked into that? And so I basically put all of the 8 sequences. You can Google it, 8 sequences on pink, and then I've been using my white to do these beats. What's happening? What are the characters doing? What are the needs? And then I'm trying to use other colors for when I introduce new characters, and I'm kind of just playing, but it feels so exciting. The film is called Go Veronica Go, and Krystina is going to be in it, which is super exciting. And things just come. They come in the middle of the night. They come in the shower.
They do.
Today, I thought, oh my gosh, this character that I have been plotting, who is going to be Veronica's mom, something significant is going to happen to her, and just how do you create tension? It's just so fun. It's like these characters are living in my brain and they're talking to each other, and then sometimes they're talking to me and they're really getting on my nerves and they won't let me sleep or focus on anything else, but it's super fun. So braving my way by writing my script. The goal is to finish first drafts by December 31st. So
December 31st. All right, Tony said it today. November 10th, he will have a first draft done. That's awesome. That's right. And I love putting things out there like that. When you tell people what you're doing and you set a date, it stays in your mind. Like you continue to work on it. I notice sometimes if I just do something for me, like I said it for me, I didn't share it with anyone. I might be like, oh, you know what? I'll go ahead and push that deadline. It's not really working for me, but when you share it with the world, like you just did, it's a great incentive. It's very motivating.
Honestly,
to stay on top of that project. Yeah.
It could be super annoying sometimes, right? When people ask you questions like, when's your movie coming out or whatever, it could really get annoying. When's your comic book going to be finished? But I think that means people are tuned in. That means people are listening to you. And so I welcome that. I want that, even though that does feel pressure, but it keeps me accountable. And I can tell them the hope is it comes out here, or the hope is that I'm finished by this date.
I like that.
So yeah, which is going to lead into our conversation today with us. We're like 7.5 weeks until the end of 2021, which it's bittersweet. I'm excited to turn a new leaf, and at the same time, like, oh man, the end of the year. But I love new stuff. I love forward thinking, and I thought we could interview each other today. We've got a couple questions that we've prepped, but we want to focus on like what's next. So let's do it. Let's jump in. You want to start?
All right, yeah, let's jump in. All right, so his first question is for you. What has been inspiring you in your creativity lately?
Okay, so I love watching behind the scenes of the making ofs. My Brave fave, which I won't share yet, had a featurette at the end of the film. So I watched this film, actually bought a film on Amazon, not just rented it. I bought it. It felt really good. Like I was supporting a filmmaker, but they had a 30-minute behind the scenes documentary. And it was so freaking inspiring to see all the people and the storytelling. And they interviewed makeup artists, they interviewed costume designers, of course they interviewed the actors and the directors. And so I'm just continually inspired by the people who are making stuff, which is why I think it's so important as artists, especially those of us who are in the film space. We get to be watching movies. That's part of our job. And reading scripts, that's part of our job. And I just can't emphasize enough the importance of reading the trades, which are basically magazines and online articles about deals that are happening and about the people who are moving and shaking in our filmmaking space. But I just read an article yesterday about Shonda Rhimes in the current Variety, and her whole story, from creating Grey's Anatomy to Bridgerton to all the stuff, How to Get Away with Murder, one of my favorite shows. But she started basically with 2 people, her and her producing partner, Betsy Beers. And now they have 50 people in Shondaland's team. And I was telling Krystina offline, like all the cool roles and the vice president of digital entertainment and podcasts. And I dream about, that's what I want for BraveMaker. That's what I want for my life. I want to employ people. And I see what Shonda did to build her empire, really, to a what is it, like a 9-figure deal that she has with Netflix now. So that's inspiring to me, is people who are doing it. They give us models. Not that we're going to be able to replicate exactly what they do, but you can build a business model and frame your future, manifest, put it in a vision board, whatever, speak it out, go after it, make it a goal. Say, this is what I hope to achieve because of those who have gone before us. Right?
Yeah.
What about you?
I love her. What about me? Inspiring my creativity lately. We had a guest on the show, Yvette Vargas, and pitching. So I'm writing this comic book. I'm hoping issue 1 will be out by Christmas, and issue 2 and 3 are in the works. And so I'm dreaming now of pitching these stories. When you have a comic book, you have to write the script first. So I have scripts, and I have characters and character Bibles and these whole worlds that these characters live in. And when you're writing these stories, you see the world in your head. And so when you start understanding, she started breaking down how to pitch projects in a way that get them sold. And she just made it seem like if you follow these steps, and thank you so much for sharing her book with me. You follow these steps, you're going to get your projects sold. So like you said, invest the time reading and understanding and studying people like Shonda, studying people who have sold multiple successful shows. They know the formula, they got it down. They took a tiny team and grew it to, something huge, something where they can all, as artists, they're able to feed themselves and sustain themselves and do more projects. And I know that's something that you and I both want. So, that's what's been inspiring me. This idea, that it's not something like pie in the sky. Like, this is something so tangible. Write these stories, understand how to pitch them and sell them. And for 2022, we haven't got there yet, but that's a huge part of my vision for 2022 is selling stories and being able to, support myself and contribute to BraveMaker and grow as my personal brand and with BraveMaker.
Yes, I dig it.
Right?
Yeah. It's pretty wild to me to think that it is, you're saying, tangible and attainable. Like, we can do this. And if you're watching live or on the replay or listening to the podcast, you can do it. But you've got to make the space. You've got to believe in yourself. And I know it sounds so cliche, but there's so much censoring for us as creative people to go after our goals, because we fill in the blank. We don't think we're enough talented, good enough, capable, whatever. And you've got to believe that this is possible. If this is what you want, you've got to go after it. You got to make space. You have to be willing to sacrifice and to work freaking hard to make it happen. But it is attainable, and sometimes it takes a long time. So if you think it's going to happen overnight, let alone in a year or 2 or 3, buckle up, baby, because it takes a long time. And at this for 25 plus years, and I'm still learning and still growing, which feels very humbling to admit. But I was writing this yesterday. I posted on Instagram one of my new shots from Richard Shue, who, if you are a person in need of a headshot, I want to recommend our friend Richard Shue, who both Krystina and I, we shot with. Richard, we both love him, and he shot us sing solo as well as together, and it was just so great. I just love everything about him. But I posted on Instagram, and I'll show it if you're watching, just like the reality of imposter syndrome, that I still feel as if it's something I continually have to fight and to acknowledge. And so even though here's this great picture that I think is pretty good based on
a great
Richard.
shot.
Yeah, thank you. And I was joking, kind of fine, like, I do wear real progressive lenses now at this point in my life, which feel ridiculous. But I was laughing at, when you get your professional shots done, you cannot wear real lenses because they reflect. So I have these fake lenses on, or these fake glasses on, which feels like such a poser. But it was really symbolic to the journey of accepting yourself and being willing to risk it, gamble on yourself, do ridiculous things, wear fake glasses,
Yes.
but just believe in yourself, one foot in front of the other, going, all right. And now we're going to talk about that. Like, so how does this happen? Sometimes I get to the end of a year and I think, did I accomplish anything? But then I look back and go, oh no,
Mhm.
hell no, I accomplished a lot. We made a feature
Yeah.
film. I started writing another feature film. I had an agent for 4 months and then that didn't continue, but I got to pitch to ABC. My very first pitch, I got to pitch to Peacock. And so you reflect on all these things that happened and go, okay, some
Mhm.
things were done. Now 2022, what things will we go after that we want to see come to fruition? So I think it
Yep.
really is like talking through, reflecting, and then going, okay, what worked, what was great, and then now how can we level this up next year? What's next, right?
Yeah, that's part of the vision. When you think about looking ahead, you want to just take a pause for the moment and think about, well, what did we get achieved? Like, take inventory. What did get moved forward? What should I put more energy towards? What do I
Mm-hmm.
need to pull energy away from? What
Mm-hmm.
wasn't working? I think that's also really hard too, is seeing like things that you've been doing, they become routine, but are they serving you or your project? You're moving things
Mm-hmm.
forward, and then cutting those things out, cutting the fat, so to speak, to
Yes.
really
Yes.
harness all the energy and momentum that you have going towards your projects in the right direction. And the imposter syndrome, oh, Tony, as an artist, yeah, that is a really hard part. And I think that's why it's so important that you start with what you said. You have to believe in yourself and don't compare yourself to other people's work. Study Shonda's work.
That's right. That's
Definitely
right.
study Spike Lee's work, study Ryan Coogler's work, like study what they're doing, understand their formulas, see how you can apply them to your projects, but don't get caught up like, well, look what they did and they did it in
Yeah.
5 years, or look
Yeah.
what they
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
achieve.
Yeah.
I've been at it for that. You can't do that. You got to really focus in on the story that you're trying to tell and why. And then how can you apply their formula for success for your project? And that's it. And just believe and know that you could do it and leave it at that. And just let the universe come together to bring your dreams to life.
That is some of the best, I think. By the way, I see Nicole. Thanks for chiming in. I appreciate your congrats, Nicole Demenzes, who's a filmmaker. Did I say her last name right? I think I might have botched it. Demenesis, but she's a filmmaker in the Bay Area and was supposed to work with Christina at some point. So don't forget the amazing Christina Ray Jackson to cast in your film.
Thank you.
But that comparison. What is that? Like comparison is the thief of joy is definitely a huge challenge for creative artists. You just got to go move forward and go, okay, I know I can only do so much, but at the same time, like I am in control of what I do, right? I'm not in control of how people react to what I do. I'm not in control of who gives me opportunities, but I'm in control of making my own opportunities and making my work, right? My friend Teresa posted on my social about that fun quote from Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come. And I laughed and I responded, I'm going to build it regardless if they come, I'm going to make it even if nobody shows up. I'm going to write the script. I'm going to make the film because you just have to,
You have to.
obviously this is a business and it's a career and needs to be commercial so that you can sell tickets and get money in your bank account. That you got to think through that kind of stuff, but there's also, I think, a lot to be said about, okay, can you be okay with doing it because you feel as if the story is in you? It's kind of like shut up in your bones. It's like there's a fire in your bones, and unless you get it out of you, you will like implode from the inside out. So speaking of that, so Krystina and I, you hear me say this a lot, but I love working with Krystina. I love the partnership that we have and the consistency. I know that every week, mostly, we're going to do this show, rain or shine, and guest or not. We have a team, so shout out to our producer, Alex Todd. Shout out to our
thank you,
social media
Alex.
manager, Carrie Alley, as well as our intern. We have 2 interns, Judy and Emerson, who are sort of learning the ropes right now and creating posts for us. And then Barnell Amos, who is our podcast editor. So he takes this live show audio and puts into a podcast so people can listen to it later. So shout out to all of this team. And by the way, I just said people from Michigan, Canada, and California. So we are in 3 different regions all doing this work in the Bay Area as well as LA. So That's super cool. So
It is.
Krystina and I synced up this week with this team, and we said, all right, we got to talk about 2022, because if you don't change things, you're not going to see change. You can't get new results by doing the same old things.
Yeah.
So, Krystina, let's just chat about some of the ideas we're tossing around as we look toward the future. I know some people hate this and dread it, but if you want to be an artist, you have to be a forward thinker. To be an actor, a filmmaker, a creative in any way, it really is entrepreneurial. You have to have an entrepreneurial spirit about yourself. And I think sometimes I, in the past, have not maybe taken that on because I felt like entrepreneur was this unattainable thing. But if you're an artist, you're a creative person, you're
are.
entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
Own it.
you are.
So that's what this section is about, is the leadership and visionary skills required to be successful and to make it, or at least even just to last in this industry. So let's riff on that, Krystina, a little bit.
Well, I'd love to start with the key component to leadership being servitude. So it's wonderful to get to do this with you and to get to serve BraveMaker and to get to collaborate with you all the time and everyone behind the scenes, you know, and you're so good at that as a leader. You're serving all of us. You do so much. You don't get compensated for most of it, you know what I mean? Because you believe in the bigger vision. So I think that's huge. And so I just wanted to say that, you know, first and foremost, you know, your leadership skills, they're inspiring, and we're all here for it. We're all here to see BraveMaker grow. Wait, and go back. What was the question? The exact question?
Well, like riffing on the visionary and leadership skills that are needed to, you know, I use the word succeed, but to move forward in a creative career, but just to last, because I think there's an entrepreneurial spirit that is needed in this space as an actor yourself, as a writer, as a comic book writer, as a singer, you know, filmmaker, writer. Like, you need to be able to look into the future and see something that is not and make it come to life, right?
Yes. And so I think a huge advantage I have, and thank you to my parents and everyone else who helped me go to business school. After I was injured, I am a quadriplegic. I use a power chair. I'm in my favorite power chair now, the Will Model C. And at first, I really didn't know about going back to school if that was going to work for me. But, you know, literally my mom would get up at 5 in the rising and take me to school. And so I got to go to business school and study entrepreneurship and leadership skills and pitching. Pitching is a huge part of the business world. You know, if you want to get a product or an idea off the ground, you got to learn how to pitch. And I love seeing the parallels with pitching films and pitching TV series and pitching products. So it's really cool to be able to use both of those skills, but also really cool to understand as an artist, you have to embrace that. Don't be afraid of the entrepreneurial side, because a lot of times you are your own boss. You're the one keeping yourself on task. Like, these projects have to be important to you. You know, no one else. Tony's not calling me, Krystina, no. He's supporting me. I'm sharing ideas with him, but ultimately it's up to me to move all my projects forward, to get my issues completed, to, you know, find an artist, like bring everything to life. And a comic book, a lot like a film, it's like stone soup. You know what I mean? You start with this and you're like, hey, I need an artist. Hey, I need a colorer. Oh, do you know what I mean? And it all comes together, but you have to be the person who's managing that. So, you know, a team grows very quickly. You're never, I mean, to make a film minimum, Tony, I mean, what's the smallest crew you've ever worked with? Like maybe like 10, 20 people. It takes a lot of people. Like, imagine when you see the end of a film, all those credits that run, you know, someone has to oversee that and organize everyone for it to come together. So you have to embrace, you know, being your own boss, really capitalizing on your own leadership skills and growing those skills, being an entrepreneur, and just enjoying the responsibility of bringing your dreams and your visions to life, as well as collaborations. If you're working with, like Tony and I are working together, your commitments, you know, being responsible to other people and what you've committed to do for them, you know, to help see their visions come to life. So for me, I think it's all about seeing responsibility in a really different way, not as a negative, but like, I get to be responsible for staying on top of these projects and reaching out to these people to make sure that this crosses the finish line when, you know, when we set the date. So I think it's about, try to enjoy it. Yeah.
The Spider-Man phrase, right? That with great power comes great responsibility. So when you think about these creative goals, and we talk a lot about dreams in this space, and I think that's important. You know, some people can kind of furrow their brow at that. And I heard someone say something like, you can't sustain a career on passion. You have to have purpose. And I kind of was nodding my head going, I see that, but I think you need both. You have to
need both.
feel a calling,
Yeah.
which you're responsible to. Like I could, and I've tried to get other jobs to just pay the bills and get a salary. But I feel dead inside, right? Because that's not my purpose, and I'm passionate. So you have those two things that come together, and you're really motivated and incentivized to keep going. And so I think there's so many people I'm seeing in this space that fizzle out because they don't have both. They don't have the passion and the purpose to keep going, because passion can fizzle out if you're not dedicated in that purpose to see it come to life. You've got to be willing to do more than just talk about it. I think, my friend Alex Ferrari, who's got his own podcast and, creative empire, has often said many of people that talk to him about making a feature film are still talking about making a feature film. Meanwhile, he's made two, and he said, because everybody's waiting for the right, whatever, fill in the blank, the right budget, the right cast, the right blah, blah, blah. And he just made the films, and he learned a lot by making those two films. And one of the films I happen to love. So shout out to Alex Ferrari for his film On the Corner of Ego and Desire. His other film was called This Is Meg. I saw it at Cinequest here in Redwood City, and he did them super low budget. He, did them, with a small crew, filmed it, edited it himself. And to me, that was inspiring for me, because I don't want to be the person who just sits around and talks about doing stuff. I want to do stuff. So here's where I get really practical is, I'm going to lean over here, is the talking. Again, it's important. Krystina and I are talking right now. We talk on a regular basis, on a weekly basis. We have a talk show, right? This is a talk show.
Yeah.
But more than that, we are about doing. So doing has to be partnered with the talking. And I've said this before, but when you say it out loud, there's accountability. We just shared about that. When you say I'm writing a film, people start asking about it. When they see you're making a film, they want to know what's going to come out. But you have to be the person who's guiding that ship, who's the captain of your own ship. And it comes with, for me, like I buy a planner all the time. I use a digital one on my phone and the calendar on my computer, but I also use a paper calendar, because I see the things and it motivates me, like when I was in school, to have due dates. Because there's that joke about when you're a writer, you're creating homework for yourself for the rest of your life. And I love seeing, in my planner, the things that I have to do every week. So I'm writing things down. And this planner, this isn't, they're not paying me to do this, but so maybe it should be my Brave fave, but Ink and Volt. And every week they start out with you writing your goals and your tasks. So you can see my page here is things I have to do and what are my weekly goals. And at the bottom, it says, what are your yearly goals? What are your monthly goals? How did you do in your progress last week? What do you want to accomplish in the next 30 days? And I love this. Okay.
That's
and it's
nice.
November 2021. I just bought my 2022 planner, and I've already started writing things in there. Like, I'm going to Sundance.
You're so good.
Like, I want to premiere my feature film in March 24th. It's already, the date is booked. So I write that down, and then I work backward and say, what do I got to do to make sure that film is premiered on March 24th? I want to film Go Veronica Go, maybe April or May. What do I have to do to see that film come to life? So that for me is the process of getting things done, is the literally writing it down and backtracking so that I can build to fruition. Yeah.
And that process is so brilliant too. If you're an artist and you're not as amazing as Tony to get all these ideas down, if you just think about your point, so you're at point A, you have an idea and you know where you want to be, and then find a mentor or find someone who can strategize with you how to get from point A to point B. Don't feel like I have to have all these answers in between. I have no idea how to get, this project off the ground. Well, you don't have to know every step. You just have to believe that you can do it. You want to get it done, and then reach out to, BraveMaker, and partner with someone who's in it, who's doing it, who believes in, bringing stories that you're trying to tell to life. But don't get stuck in that phase where it's like, oh, this is what I want to do. I don't know how to reverse like how what Tony is doing. Like, okay, this is where I want to be in March. What do I have to do up until that point? Like, you're very good at doing that. But even if you're not good at doing that, just know where you want to be in 2022, and then partner with someone who can start, helping you see the steps you need to take. Yeah.
100% partnership, because we are so
Partnerships.
my lights are wigging out. Sorry about that. My lights are like flashing like, hey, spotlight. But I think that you hit something, super important here. Is it does feel very lonely at times, right? The creative journey is a lonely journey. It is. But it does not have to be. You can find the right partners, or try to find the right partners to come alongside you. As a director and writer, like, the producers are the end all be all for me. And I need people who can be there from the beginning to the end, and who are there in every way, shape, and form, trying to solve the problem, bring it to light. Like, I think producers are like the best people in the world, and a good producer is worth their weight in gold, right?
Yes.
So you don't have to do it alone. And we're trying to, so let's maybe focus a little bit on 2022, what we hope to see. We're trying to do more things to help creatives. We're trying to create more content. So Krystina and I are talking about what 2022 might look like in regards to another podcast offering, that we can create more things that could help you and inspire you, and doing things through Patreon. So a bunch of people that I know use Patreon, and they've created a subscriber audience of people who value their input and their storytelling and their educational or inspirational output. And I think Krystina and I see that there's some potential here with this team that we shared earlier, to craft some more things, because we love doing it, and we also want to pour back into the creative community, and we also want to raise funds to be able to compensate our team, who are all volunteers right now. So Krystina and I are figuring out what that's going to look like, and we welcome, if you're listening or watching, to find us, to tweet at us or Instagram us, DM us. You can also email podcast@bravemaker.com, or find Christina Ray Jackson on Insta, because we are looking for ideas, and we're happy to be inspired by you all of what would benefit you. What do you need? How might, $5 a month that you contribute to Patreon be reciprocated by the work that we could create for you?
Yeah.
So we're open to that. So Krystina, please add more. Like, when we started talking about this, what you're the idea queen, by the way. She has all these fun things that she thinks we could be doing, and I'm excited. We're going to try some, and some might be great and some might not, but it's like, we're going to learn as we go too. But Krystina, like, riff on some of those ideas and thoughts that you have as we go into 2022.
What I have really been enjoying after getting to shadow you as a director and an actor and a filmmaker, and getting to go to acting school, and over this last year and a half, I've just changed so much as not only a filmmaker, but a film watcher. And so I thought we'd talk a lot about what it's like behind the camera, a little bit in front of the camera as an actor, but what is it like for the viewer? And a lot of times, like when we talk about studying Shonda's work or Spike Lee's work, like, we're the viewer. And I want to say, what's the right word? I become a much better movie viewer after doing this work for the last year and a half, and getting to speak to other directors and DPs and all these people that have to come together to bring a film to life. When you sit down to watch a film, I don't know if you've noticed, it's completely different now. Because before I even get into the film, I'm like, oh wait, but who wrote the screenplay? Who's directing? You know what I mean? Like, you have all these questions that you want before the action even starts, and who did the music, and so I think it would be really fun. And if you're listening or watching this, I'd love to know if this is content, like Tony said, that you would feel would be worth joining the High Five Club, or it would be worth $1 or $3 a month to hear us talk about breakdown movies from a filmmaker's perspective, watching it to make movies more enjoyable as a viewer. And when I watch movies with friends now, and we're talking about, they're like, oh wow, I didn't notice that, or I would have never realized that. And you don't, but if you're not educated, if you're not experienced in that world, but it's become our world now. So I think there's a huge opportunity there where we could have some fun for viewers, to really engage them in films in a way that they never imagined.
I think when I envision that idea, I think about creating like book clubs, right? People
Yeah.
read books together and then they discuss that. We might even create like a watch club where you would be expected to watch a show, a series, a film, and then we do sort of a reflection on it, and we maybe
Mhm.
do in a live setting like this for our Patreon subscribers, a deep dive into how that inspires us or what we could take from that, not
Mhm.
only as you know filmmakers and artists, but like as human beings. I
Yeah.
think sometimes we forget because we're so dialed into the entertainment or escapism of our film and TV watching, is that these stories impact and create culture. They create
Mhm.
awareness. They change the way that we do life and do
Yeah.
humanity. And right now, I think, especially where there's so much great content, and maybe some not so great, but there's just a lot of stuff out there. But so much of it is aimed at poking our brains and our hearts
Mhm.
to see the world, to see representation, like lives of people that
Mhm.
we don't normally see, and stories
Yeah.
of people that don't normally get the spotlight. So, yeah, I'm in for that. Definitely in for
Right?
that.
And you think about the time it takes you, to write a script and come up with the concept. People spend years and
Yeah,
years to put a film together. When you finally sit down to watch this 90-minute film, countless hours and
yeah,
sweat and tears and blood have been put into this film. And as a viewer, I think you just, like how you said, you just watch it for the entertainment and it's great. But you don't really, take the time to pause and see, how is this movie touching my heart? How is it touching my mind? How would I move through the world differently after seeing this particular film? And then as a filmmaker, if you feel that way, if you watched a film that changed the trajectory of your life, how can I incorporate that in my scripts, in my comic books, in my work? In a way that's original and unique to me, but still able to touch, readers and listeners and viewers. So yeah, I would love, we could do some deep dives. Some other content I thought would be really fun. I'm sorry, we got distracted by your camera. Some other content I
my camera
thought.
is wigging. I don't know what's happening over here, y'all. My lights are wigging. I don't know what's going on. Keep talking, Christina.
Okay, so something else that we could do that's really fun. Tony does these Pop God episodes with the Quest, and I was really fortunate to have got to do an episode with him for Luca. But it made me think of the other films that I've seen. So a show I was thinking of, and so I'm pitching Tony on the spot. It's called AKA.
Mm.
And for example, we would start an episode and we would break down Cujo. And Cujo for me, I feel like also could be known as, or just AKA, the ramifications of infidelity in a marriage.
Ooh, yeah.
So we will take a simple title in a movie, and on the surface, it looks like it's a wild story about a dog that got rabies, terrorizes the family. That's it. But if you take a
Yeah.
deep dive into Cujo, it is such a wild film layered with lots of life lessons. And I started noticing a lot of films are like that. Like if you really take the time to think about what the director, what the writer was trying to convey, we ask writers and like filmmakers all the time, what was the message that you wanted
Yeah.
viewers to get? What impact did you want to have? And sometimes it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I got that. But sometimes it's like, that went right over my head. I didn't even realize, that was the ultimate message. So
So say
yeah,
that again.
just some,
They would call AKA. I like that. I
yeah,
really
AKA
like
also
that.
known as, so Cujo, AKA the ramifications of infidelity in a marriage. This is
Mhm.
going to be the more elaborate title, but it will be more indicative of
Yeah.
what the film was about,
Okay.
not to,
That's
yeah.
a great idea. That's a great idea. It almost seems like you're pitching ideas for like a university film class, which is great. Well, we're gonna create our own little BraveMaker University. This is really cool. And I think too, I also really envision us helping and maybe doing sessions where we workshop ideas for
Mhm.
people. So in this new
Mm.
Patreon community that we're going to be launching in 2022, maybe this is where, for I'm speaking to screenwriters, which we do a screenwriting class 3 times a year, February, September, and October. But maybe there's something to be said about workshopping for our community ideas in live sessions where we could
Yeah.
help somebody, from idea to, creation on the page, workshop that script in lifetime. That might be something we could practice or
Tony's
experiment
two
with too.
cents.
Yeah,
Right?
totally.
Tony's 2 cents, man. He
Yeah.
won his 2 cents. He's worth his weight in gold. Yeah, run those ideas by him. He's helped me clean up a lot of log lines and concepts
Mhm.
and character ideas. Yeah, that'd be awesome. It's like
And
you're applying decades of experience in this industry. I'm totally green. I just jumped in 3 years ago, but you have so much experience. Yeah, I think it would be great to start sharing that through the Patreon and coming up with content that is so unique that
mhm.
only for your perspective.
And that tags back to what you were saying about not being alone is
Mm,
basically what we're saying was we're trying to create opportunities for connection for people,
yeah.
because if you don't have it, it'll affect obviously your output, but it'll affect your project. You don't realize that the persons that you connect with around, acting, screenwriting, maybe even just like, shout out to Jasmine Robinson and Daquan Richard, who were on set doing some background work for a local TV, Apple TV show. They met at BraveMaker, and then boom, they're on this show, doing background work, which everybody in the industry has to do background work. It's not glamorous. It's, kind of sometimes very humbling, but those are all stepping stones, right?
Uh-huh.
You get into this potential thing that we're trying to create here in 2022, and you never know who you're going to meet that is going to be helping produce something for you come a year from now, or who's going to act, or who's going to cast you because they're directing
Mhm.
something. So that's
Yeah.
what really gets me excited is, we're not a management company. We're not an agency. I've had, some weird interactions sometimes where people can get very competitive, in regards to their crews and who's doing what in the Bay. We're not trying to compete and be an agency or a management company. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to spur people on, and
Mhm.
the industry requires that you know how to play well with others, something we all have hopefully been taught since we were a kid. And I think this could really be something for people to get that partnership, that
Mhm.
collaboration. Because Christina and
Yes.
I, by the way, we didn't even talk about, we shot a music video last week.
We freaking shot a
Oh
music
my
video
gosh.
Friday. What?
What?
It was beautiful. Tony, this is 2 years in the making.
Yeah.
Maybe longer than that. Tony and I were at Templo Studio. Shout out to Ivan over at
Mhm.
Templo Studio. We were there in the fall of 2019, just before COVID, and we were recording a song called Claudia and Juliet. And we had this vision and dream, and we shot the video for it. Friday was at November 5th
Yeah.
at Magical Bridge Park, and it was magical, and it was a beautiful day. And I remember getting up, and it was like 51 degrees, and my mom was like, she's like, why'd you guys wait till November to shoot this video? I was like, you know what, this is when it came together. It's going to be perfect. We got our Michael Myers jumpsuits. We're going to be great. We got out there, the sun was shining. It couldn't have been a more beautiful day. And by the time we got to Stanford to to Palm Drive, it was spectacular. We couldn't ask for better weather. And we shot a music video, and I can't wait to reveal. I can't wait to share the date when we're going to reveal this. We've got a couple more steps. We're working with the animation team for part of the video. We got a lot of moving parts to this, but it's what the impact is what's the most exciting thing to me. Why we did the video, to raise
Mhm.
awareness for a lot of issues, suicide awareness in the queer community, police brutality against African American women with disabilities. There's a lot of layers to it. Under all of it is love,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I can't wait to bring it to life and to share it with everyone.
And how in the world did this come to be? Because we intersected in January of 2019, because
Yeah.
we both went to, we were both at this BraveMaker event, and all of a sudden, like it's like kismet. You find a collaborator and a partner and somebody you enjoy working with who's got talent. You go, we're going to make stuff. And so this is not the end. Obviously, we're continuing to collaborate.
Yeah.
And so, as we kind of close out this conversation, I got my my feature film in this box right here. I'm going to
Oh my
continue making things, and we're going to continue to forecast the future, saying you're going to see music videos, comic books, film, and TV, and more, and podcasts. We're creating this culture, and you who are watching or listening, you could be a part of it too. We need all sorts of people. Like, look, we just talked to our team this week, and we were saying, okay, we need people who are go-getters, right? So if you're a go-getter, then great, stay on. If you're not, then it's okay. We can cut you off. And I say that in a graceful way. It's okay to part ways with people who aren't ready to go at your speed. It's okay, because it's not good for either person. Resentment will build if either party in a collaboration isn't in at the same degree. So we're looking for people, and there's definitely going to be new people out there. So take this as an open invitation. I don't like begging people, so I like personal invitations. So if I know you, hopefully, I've personally invited you to partner in some way. If I haven't, then it's not because I didn't want to, it's because I just haven't yet. So, but don't wait for someone to ask you. Put yourself out there, let your freak flag fly, wave it strong. If you know what you're supposed to be doing, if you know what your passion and your purpose is, let it be known to people. Krystina and I are here waiting for more producers to join us, more executive producers, more financiers, more social media entrepreneurs, right? Krystina and I were just talking about, we need marketing people to join us, people who like to plan and create and who vision into the future, more entrepreneurial spirit. So we're waiting for those people to join us. We're looking for them. We're being proactive too, but that doesn't mean that you can't be proactive as well. Yeah?
Yes. Yep.
Sweet. Yep, anything else you want to add, my friend?
Oh, keep dreaming. That's like the biggest part when we get to our brave faves. Mine kind of coincides with that. So things to dream too. So yeah, I'll leave it at that till we get to our brave faves.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Brave faves. TV shows, films, books, songs, technology, clothing, podcast, food, and more. These are a few of our favorite people, places, and things. Brave faves.
All right, Krystina, what's your brave fave?
So I'm a huge dreamer. I think, all these projects begin with a dream, and I have been loving just sitting, being still, listening to the lava from Kilauea, Hawaii. I play it really loud. It has been the most. I usually played rain sounds. I love like white noise, like forest sounds. But this lava, you guys, and the visual is so magical too. It's perfect. So just put it on, play it as loud as you can tolerate. It's pretty. It has like a thunderous vibe to it, and just let your mind run wild. What would be your wildest, most delicious vision for 2022, and why the lava is running, and you just let your mind go, and then you jot down some ideas because you'll get lots of downloads, because I always do, and you write it all down, and then hopefully you got a cool friend like Tony, and you call him up and say, Tony, we got to do this this thing, and he's on board, and that's how projects start, with a dream and a vision.
We got to listen to it just for just for 10 seconds. We got to listen. Here we go. Let's listen. Is it like a little crackle?
No, it's a loud lava. Yeah. Let's check let's turn that up.
For some reason my thing is is it not working? All right, we're gonna put the YouTube in the chat as well as in the For some reason it's not playing. I shared the music and everything. Let's try one more time. Come on, let's try.
Let's try one more time.
It needs a fresh share tab.
Well, you could try
audio.
this if you have children at home. It puts my niece to sleep. Like, it's very
That's awesome. I can hear my daughter saying that's satisfying. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna have to go and listen to it because for some reason we're being shut out. But awesome, I love it. We need more lava in our lives. That's very symbolic too. It feels like in the fire of inspiration.
And it's moving and it's going. Yeah.
Okay, well, my brave fave is the Eyes of Tammy Faye, y'all. So some of you know Tammy Faye is a tabloid fodder from the 90s. She was a televangelist's wife, but she also had this really engaging presence in the world, and she became this unconditional love icon in the LGBT community, especially because she highlighted, when no one else would, unconditional acceptance of LGBT people, especially AIDS patients. She had, unbeknownst to her husband and the network, the Christian network that they ran, she had an AIDS patient, Steve Peters, on, and it basically like shattered the hypocrisy of this, evangelical world that was being very exclusive. And so I watched this film. There's a real documentary that's narrated by RuPaul, because in her later years, after her husband went to jail for tons of pilfering of funds from the church and fraud, she became this person of influence in the drag community and other spaces in LGBT world. And I watched this for the story alone. It's so inspiring, but for the acting and the hair and the makeup. And I watched, this is what I was alluding to earlier, I watched the behind the scenes of this, and oh my gosh, unbelievable.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's so good. Andrew Garfield and Jessica Chastain, they're going to get tons of awards, or at least nominations, because it was so good.
That's what I mean, like with the deep dives. Did you notice all that? Who did the set design? Who did the makeup?
That's
Can you
right.
believe who was the wig designer? Like, wow, you guys, there's so many
Yes.
layers when you're just watching and enjoying it. People made those dresses, they made those wigs, they wrote, so this is great. I can't wait to watch this. I'm so excited. You always have the best picks. This is awesome.
Right on. I love it. Well, so good. This is so great. Krystina and I are so happy to be doing this work together. And, as we finish out our year, we would be remiss to invite you to partner with us financially. We view the ask for partnership in regards to donations as a gift, that we know that finances can often be weird and awkward, but when you look at it away, like, we're offering a gift of partnership. We believe in this work. We believe that creatives need to hear the stories that we're sharing and the things that we're learning. We want to share with the world. We want to inspire more people to make and go after their creative goals. And if this is something that you feel you believe in too, then you can pick up your phone and just dial 44321 in your text, and text the word BraveMaker to 44321 and give right from your phone, or go to bravemaker.com/donate. We welcome your financial provision, because everything from, the mics that we have, obviously I need some new lighting because I have some rose colored tint. I don't know what's going on today. But your donations do everything from help us have our film festival, which July 7th through the 10th of 2022. You heard it here first. And then our film premiere of Last Chance Charlene, March 24th, 2022. All require renting of locations and traveling of actors and lodging all sorts of people and hiring security and all that kind of fun stuff. So you could help us. And also, if you have a company, your name could be on the marquee. The film premiere of Last Chance Charlene, presented by you, fill in the blank, you and your company. And we also encourage you to go to our website for our e-news at bravemaker.com/buzz. And you'll never miss any of our events, like our Halloween party that we did a couple weeks ago. So super fun. And that's it. That's our show. I don't think we have a guest for next week yet, but our team is working on it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they're working on. We're going to have an awesome show next week.
Okay, my friends. Krystina, thank you. Go find Christina Ray Jackson.
Thank you.
K-Ray Cosplay. And that's it. Thanks to our producer, Alex Todd, our social media manager, Carrie Alley, our interns, Judy and Emerson, as well as our podcast editor, Barnell Amos. That's it.
Thank you,
You know
everybody.
how we end the show.
Brave stories change the world.
And you are the story.
Bye, everybody.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at BraveMaker.org. Like, subscribe, and share. To become a monthly donor, text the word BraveMaker to 44321 or go to bravemaker.com/donate. Thanks for tuning in.